Hey there, Holiday on the Snake, back with another gaming laptop overview for you. Maybe review, we'll see. This actually is pretty special. This is not a new laptop, but it's actually not real common either. This one came out, what, year and a half ago, something like that. This is the Alienware 13, but not just any regular Alienware. This is one of the OLED models with that absolutely gorgeous screen. Go over a few of the specs on this thing and also show you how easy it is to upgrade this bad boy. And what you end up with is a pretty potent little package of not only portability but also gaming ability and expandability. More on that in a sec. Okay, the first thing to talk about for this laptop, I mean, let's face it, if you get this Alienware 13, you're going to buy it for the screen. The OLED is an absolute showstopper. As you can see by the hardware ID in the device manager, this one comes with a Samsung OLED screen. It's a model SDCA029. And all those numbers and letters, I don't know if you're like me, they don't really mean anything except for the fact this is a spectacular Samsung OLED screen. If you can look at this picture here, this was actually a picture taken at Glacier National Park. Kind of a bright day. The shadows, the way this thing does blacks is, I mean, it's amazing. Really is. The screen, I've had a zillion laptop screens. I've had some of the 3K and 4K MSI models over the years. This thing just does colors and blacks unlike anything I've ever seen. The one thing Alienware brags about regarding the screen is a 1 millisecond response time. Now, I'm not really picky as far as that goes. If it's 5 milliseconds, whatever. I'm not, a competitive gamer. I don't actually play much online, so that stuff doesn't really matter as much to me. But you will notice this laptop's really responsive, especially with one specific upgrade that I would highly recommend that I will show you in just a second. One great thing about this Alienware chassis is the unbelievably easy upgradability and easy access to the bottom panel. Now, there's not a lot that you have access to, but Alienware makes this thing super simple. Normally in a case like this, I would already have the bottom panel off and save you the viewing time. But in this case, there's only 2 screws. So I want to show you exactly how quickly you can get in here and what the insides are like. You don't even have to take the screws completely off. You basically just get them out of their sockets, leave them connected to the bottom panel. And in just literally a couple seconds, you're inside of this bad boy. And so you can see it a little bit more clearly. You don't have access to much, but you have access to so the main things you would probably be interested in upgrading. In fact, I've already upgraded one of these things. As you can see right there, that is the wireless card. Yeah, to do a little bit of gymnastics to get at that thing, but that could be replaced if you're not happy with the killer wireless card the thing comes with. This comes standard with 2 4GB sticks of RAM. Personally, I would probably look to upgrade this to maybe 2 sticks of 8, but it's not bad the way it is. And again, if you want to upgrade it, you see how easy it is to get inside. This is the one thing that I upgraded almost immediately. It comes with what Alienware refers to as a hybrid drive, and what that amounts to is a really slow 5400 RPM hard drive, mechanical drive with a small cache of just really fast memory to help with boot times. It's generally pretty slow. So what I did is I threw a Samsung, I think this is an 850 500 gig SSD that I found on sale at Best Buy. Makes this thing really snappy. And it's, again, really easy access. You have 4 screws right there to take off. You've got a little ribbon cable that you pull onto to remove the hard drive cable from the motherboard, and that's it. And it's really easy to get into. Nice ventilation, by the way, that Alienware has with their screen on the bottom, so this doesn't get really hot on your lap either. Okay, what's been the case for years with Alienware, you're almost certainly aware of the fact you can customize a lot of your color zones. Again, this is not the new Kaby Lake revision, which has a slightly new chassis. This is the generation prior to that, where basically you've got, I don't know, 8 different zones where you can change colors. As far as the back of the chassis, you've got colors you can set for accents there. You've got the alien head, you've got your 4 main parts of the keyboard, you've got the Alienware branding there in the middle. This Alienware 13 does not have the customizable colors on the touchpad, which the 15 and 17 models had year previous, that this one doesn't have. So know that if you're wanting to customize that, you're going to have to go with one of the bigger Alienwares or one of the newer models too. Alright, looking at the device manager, show you a little bit about what's inside this Alienware 13. Again, this is not the new Pascal, NVIDIA card, Kaby Lake version of this. This is the generation before that. This is another Optimus laptop that's got both the Intel card for when you're just doing browsing. This one comes with the 520. You're not going to worry about that. If you're going to be gaming or doing anything with any kind of heavy load, you're going to be using the GeForce GTX 965M, which does a good job. And again, the key to this Alienware with the Alienware amp connection on the back and the possibility of using an external video card with this at some point, sky is pretty much the limit as far as what kind of video card you could hook up to this externally if you feel like the 965 is not going to do what you want it to do. This model has, and I know some people love this and hate it, it has the killer gigabit Ethernet controller, which is actually pretty good. The one thing I know there's many people that don't like is the killer wireless 1535 adapter. I haven't personally had any issues with this card being slow. I disable the application manager on the killer wireless card if you've never dealt with that. Basically, it tries to use what at least it calls smart management of allowing different applications. It'll kind of throttle certain things and try to add priorities to others. I've never really found that works tremendously well, so I normally leave that disabled, but it's there if you're interested. Again, this came with a 500 gig hybrid hard drive. I replaced that with my own Samsung 850 EVO, the non-pro version, but it's still really fast. And altogether, it really puts together a very portable and fast gaming laptop. Okay, just a couple of other things to share with you here, and I'll wrap this up. The resolution of this screen is 2560 by 1440. Again, as you can see, the color is just absolutely amazing. This thing does blacks like nothing else, orange, blues, all the colors are gonna pop big time. One other thing I've had people ask me about, not just this model, but all the laptops I've covered here. Battery life on this is surprisingly good. I'm not a big fan of some of the manufacturers that will say, oh, you can get 8 or 9 hours of battery life if you run this at 50% brightness. Well, I don't run my laptops at 50% brightness, so I could care less if they get 8 or 9 hours of battery life. This one running at full 100% brightness, and it is a really bright screen. By the way, I haven't measured the nits on this thing, but it's really bright. It has to be somewhere in the 300 to 400 range, more than likely. This one I'm getting somewhere between 4 and 5 hours of battery life. You're not talking about gaming, but I'm talking about browsing, just using regular web stuff. But it is running at full brightness, so it's pretty impressive for a very small laptop. And there you have it, guys. That is an overview of the Alienware OLED 13 that came out here about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Not a new model, but definitely comes highly recommended. It is a one-trick pony, but man, that trick is great in that OLED screen. As always, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I'll try to answer as I can. If you want to see me run some games on this thing, maybe I can do that at some point in the future. As always, appreciate you watching and sharing and all that good stuff, and we'll talk at you later.